You're listening to Digging, a new podcast where we dig into the heads of creators. My name's Sam Griffiths. I'm a songwriter for the band The Howl and the Hum. In this series, I'm interested in the spark, the very beginning of inspiration for an artist, where it comes from, what you do with it, and where you go with it. We'll start with musicians and songwriters, expand to artists, poets, and writers, and see where it takes us. In this episode, I'm talking to HYYTS, who are an electro-pop duo made up of Adam and Sam, based in Glasgow. I've called them electro-pop because that's the word that I wrote on my notes before speaking, but I don't know if that quite encompasses it. It's sort of, it's got elements of a lot of really brilliant pop production, as well as kind of this, I don't know, there's a vibrancy about it and like a camp atmosphere about it, and it's incredible. And their live shows are one of the best. They're one of the best live bands I've ever seen. They came out on tour with us last year, I think, at the start of last year when we did a tour of the Scottish Highlands, and they came and joined on all the Scottish dates, and it was a pleasure to get to know them. And since then, I've gone up to Glasgow and written some songs with them, and we've written some songs over email, which has been interesting. But yeah, those guys are absolutely amazing. Please check out their music online. I hope this chat will make you want to listen to them online, because I think they're brilliant and they're very lovely and funny and gorgeous people. So yeah, in this episode we're talking about Brian Eno, jazz piano, their two different forms of approaching creating, and lots more. Again, apologies for the bad language, but we are naughty little sailors, so that's why we say some naughty words in this one. So here's the song to describe how naughty we are. But I hope you enjoy it, and I will hear you. I will be at the end of this as well, because I'm going to record myself some more through sheer vanity. So thank you. I hope you enjoy this episode with HYYTS. If anyone is listening to this podcast that we made, if anyone is listening and they might be underage, then please be aware that there are some naughty words. If you don't know them now, you will by the end.
Adam's been getting really into freeform piano recently. So whenever he's over, it's mainly just consists of like doing the work that we have to do, and then I'll go and chill out on the couch to some like freeform piano. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm just playing like complete nonsense. Like you'll play like something in one key and then just like switch like to the worst possible key you could, and it's really nice.
I love that shit. That's great.
It gets hypnotic after a little while.
Yeah, and the thing is,
like Minecraft,
because no one can describe what you're doing, you can just get incredibly rich doing that as well. They just pay you. They're just like, I don't know what he's doing, but I can't say I don't know what he's doing, so I'm just going to have to give this guy like 500 grand. That's how it works, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and he doesn't know what he's doing, but like he's pretending that he does, so we'll all just think that he does.
Exactly. How do you think Aphex Twin is so successful? No one knows. No one knows what's going on. That's not true. That's genius. But just imagine if that's just what happened. Well,
he's also a fucking nerd.
Yeah, he is a fucking nerd. Did you hear that rumour that he lives in the roundabout at Elephant and Castle? He lives in there's a rumour that he lives under a giant roundabout in London.
What?
And people would like...
be surprised.
Yeah. People like... And that he owned a tank and stuff. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Oh wow! Is he Irish?
I think he's English.
Yeah,
he's just like English. Some weird little guy from like Devon or something.
Yeah, did you not see him in like a little cul-de-sac one time? Was that you?
Me?
Yeah, someone told me a story of not spotting someone that looked exactly like Aphex Twin, and he was walking about with two kids in this weird little cul-de-sac. It might have even been in Broughty Ferry in Dundee, you know. But yeah, don't know. Can you guys hear me okay?
Weird.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool. I've got a mic here.
Are you guys all recording in that?
Yes.
I'm recording my audio, yes.
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 Okay, we'll do Yes, my sweet baby dad. So, should we all press? Oh, go on. Give us a little lick.
Yeah.
I was just going to join in.
This is a jam session, right?
Give us your favourite riff. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. All
That's
wrong,
right, man.
It goes like
I
no.
loved it.
Was that not good?
No, keep the guitar. It was all right. But what would be amazing is something that you've played before. Is it goes like no. Yeah, that's the money, man.
Ooh, yeah.
There we go.
Fuck.
Real nice.
Ripped.
That's a hit.
Yeah.
That is a hit. Right, can we all clap at the same time so I can sync up these audios?
Okay.
3, 2,
Yes.
1. Gorgeous boys. HYYTS, my sweet fathers.
My dad.
My sweet dads.
Well,
how are you guys doing?
Good. Fantastic, man. Trying to keep sane.
Very well, thank you.
Yeah. Just trucking on. Staying
man.
sexy.
You guys,
most importantly, staying really buff.
I hear you've been working out, Sam.
I have been working out. Yeah, I have been working out, and it's teaching me a lot. Yesterday, I felt like I entered a new gear. It was really weird. Like you hear about these things like interdimensional beings and interdimensional humans and all that stuff, and I felt like I entered in
like No Fap November.
Exactly. You transcend by the end of it. Yeah, I felt a little bit.
Yeah, you can see new colours and speak Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. I got a little bit of that yesterday, so yeah, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good.
Okay, good. It's good that you've transcended your human shell.
Yeah.
It's not
you were never long for that shell.
No.
Exactly. Not that it was getting tired or anything, but I'm glad you've.
Well.
So what? You're just sort of an aura of light and sound now.
Pretty much, but I'm manifesting my original shape just to not confuse people, not to avoid overwhelming people. You know.
That's really kind.
Of course.
Yeah,
that's really kind.
That's thanks, man.
That's all good.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that.
It's okay.
I'm gonna dive in and ask some intensely personal questions. I'm not gonna do that.
Please do it.
I can't. You have to pay for therapy.
Sexual history.
Yeah. How many freckles have you got in your face?
Yeah. What?
3. Do you want to know?
I do want to know. This is all going in. Do you remember what compelled you to write your first song?
Yes, I suppose we could take this separately because I think Sam's. I'm not going to answer for Sam, but Sam's journey was maybe like a little bit more roundabout. But what compelled me to write it? I think. Well, I learned the guitar because my mum said I needed to make friends. I needed a way to make. She was like, "You're never going to get a girlfriend or make friends if you don't have a gimmick." So I learned the guitar.
That's not fair.
No, she didn't say it in so many words, but that was basically the vibe. She was like, like at parties, like you don't need to talk to people if you play the guitar because everyone will just come and talk to you. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then there was a guy in a band called Hue and Cry who were a really like famous band in the 80s from Scotland. And my dad knew them, and I was kind of like starting to play the guitar and interested in writing songs, and I kind of like fannied about a wee bit. And then my dad was like, would you like talk to my son and like just kind of teach him some stuff? And I ended up writing my first song from that. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called Something Beautiful. It was very like, my first couple of years of writing songs was very like soft boy. Like I had big glasses and it was very like basically mansplaining emotions.
Mine's exactly that. I really picked up where you left it.
Yeah, man. So I guess that what drove me to do it was just like, and this sounds so lame or whatever, but I like communication. I like communicating with. I like the whole idea of like saying something. I think language is really interesting and words are really interesting. The words that we've chosen to call things, and they have like roots and like really ancient like power. That the words that you choose, you don't really understand when you're saying something. Like the word that you're calling it goes back thousands of years and has like a kind of emotional connection a lot of the time. And I think like music and art and other stuff is basically like communication that you can't really say in words because you're saying things in a different kind of way. And I guess that's what made me want to write things. I remember playing other people's songs and thinking this is really good, but I want to do one that's mine.
So
sick. How about you, Sam?
Mine was a little bit less biblical than that. Not biblical, but like less thought about, I'd say. I was basically just
You've got God on the brain.
Yeah. Well, look, he's one of my best pals, so we're isolating together. Yeah. For me, I don't know. For me, I came dead late to the game with music. I started really getting passionate about it when I was going to the clubs and stuff when I was like maybe 18. Around that time, and everyone was like, you'd be in the club and everyone was like seriously vibing, hitting it, big vibes, and I was all the while I was enjoying it, right? But I was thinking, why doesn't he do that here and do this now and stuff like that? Because obviously No, that doesn't matter. I was going to go on another like God run there, but I'm just going to.
Yeah, you can only mention it so many times.
I know.
That's understandable. But I love the idea of you going to like a club or something, but you've got like a little journalist notebook.
Yeah,
like this, and you're just there, just being like, "Yeah, this is great. That drop was great, and people are really vibing it." However, if at 3:42 he went 14 decibels louder, man, this place would be popping. And then you come back next week, like the guy out of Goodwill Hunting. You're there fixing the equations with all the DJs leave their booths. You're there.
In a janitor's uniform.
Yeah.
Wicked smart, man.
That's exactly how it was.
I'm so glad, man.
Yeah.
Godwill Hunting.
Godwill Hunting.
God Sam Hunter.
Godwill Hunter.
God Sam Hunter.
God Sam Hunter.
God Sam Hunter.
Jeez.
That's genius. That's great.
So yeah, to avoid that conundrum, so I removed the notepad and the chalkboard and all that, and I went home and downloaded Ableton and started doing the things that I'd thought of, and there we had it. But I guess like my writing a song is slightly different to writing an actual song. And the first song I ever wrote, I can't remember what it was. So
I remember it. It was like. No, fuck, I'm getting confused now. But there was one you did all yourself and you sent it to me and Gary, but you spent ages over it, like fanning over it. And we were like, this is fucking amazing. But I can't remember what it went like.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I remember the bass line. It was like, wah,
that
wah,
was good.
Wah, 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 wah. There we go.
Yeah, it was dancey and it was kind of like...
Nice.
Yeah, the lyrics were quite like sad.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's just exactly my vibe.
Yeah, that's it.
So you sort of went in... So Sam, you were sort of hearing this music in clubs and stuff, and it was almost like you wanted to correct it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it seems like Adam's outpouring seemed like a need to express something, which I think are kind of like two quite nicely divergent paths that then meet up again when you guys start working together, right?
Man, you couldn't have put it better myself. You make us sound like we're actually good, which is good.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm not getting paid for.
Yeah, that's. So I guess that's totally it. Yeah, we do have like completely different, I guess, like approaches. Now it's like quite a streamlined thing because we do everything together, and also we do a lot of sessions with other people where it's like not us against them, but me and Sam are like a unit, and then like this person or two people or whatever is like it's like two different sides, and we're on the same side, and we kind of like put things back and forth. Like we kind of have a way to do it, but then it changes every time. But yeah, I think we do. I think Sam's like, for want of a better word, his whole like vibe-y.
Yeah, for sure.
Vibe is such a funny word to use.
Yeah,
his
bro.
thing is so like feeling and like atmosphere, and then I'm like the particulars of like the words and like the things like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I think that's really sick, and the gelling of it makes such an interesting sound as well. I think the comment, like, it's like both parts of it are such interesting styles of songwriting, but then of course the combination just makes it like stick out a little. Do you? This is a bit of a strange question, I guess, but do you enjoy being in a creative mindset? If you get in one, if you get into one, do you enjoy creating in general?
I get a massive buzz out of it, man. It's weird because sometimes it can be frustrating sometimes because you don't really know when it's going to come about, and sometimes it can come about in the most frustrating moments ever where it's impossible to do things. And often you find you are most creative when you actually don't have the facilities to do anything with that creativity. But when you get in the zone, it's just the best thing ever, man. It is the best thing ever.
100%. Yeah. What is the zone? What's the zone like? Can you describe the zone? What does it look like?
Levitation. There's a lot of whiteness.
Blue eyes.
Yeah. Don't come near me though, because I might evaporate you.
That's so unfortunate when that happens.
I know.
That's happened to us.
I know.
When we were writing together, and it's just such a nightmare. You just lose a team member so quickly.
I know.
Yeah. That's it, man. It's a shame, but it's, you know, if you want to make an omelette, you got to break a few eggs.
Yeah,
Couldn't be
exactly.
true, man.
How does it appear to you, Adam?
I don't know. I think what Sam said is so good. I think it's the best feeling in the world when you get that. Like I just had it there. I was like singing. I've been like kind of working on this little idea, and then almost always it's like in the shower for me. I find it's really like because you get away from the instrument that you're working on.
I find that
and you get away from like the you know, I think a lot of people say that too, and I don't know if it's like the heat or like the whatever, and you just get your mind somewhere else, and you end up like you just go somewhere that you wouldn't normally go.
It's like switching I think it's switching your mind off a little bit. It's going to the loo for me. Whenever I just like I need a break or something, and I've sort of like you step out of the room, you step out of the like the little boundary that you seem to have made in your own head. Like, well, when we were working together in your little in the little studio in Glasgow, as soon as you leave that room, as soon as you leave the little room where you've been like all day, and you sort of like you get a new space, and you accidentally start thinking about other things. That thought is the thought of the idea of the creative idea is still there in the back of your mind, and it's like scratching at the door, and it's like, and you kind of let all these weird little parts of it in. I've always found that really 100%. Interesting. That like your subconscious is still like really active, like your subconscious isn't able to let go when your normal mind is. And so the subconscious is still sort of like writing all these little ideas.
For sure.
Showering, having a poo.
Oh man, I also
most of our songs are about having a poo, anyway. So.
I completely agree. I'm with you there on the shower thing, but I think for different reasons. I get really creative because I drink the shampoo and it makes me hallucinate.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. Is that a source of inspiration for you? The drinking of various bathroom substances,
and the different ones have different effects. Like herbal essence is more like trippy, and then your dumps, head and shoulders is more like.
I hear Beach House use herbal essences actually.
Yeah. Damon Albarn's on Head and Shoulders, man.
Yeah, for sure.
He is.
He is.
So how do your if you're say if you've got a blank slate, if you're not necessarily in the studio, you guys aren't necessarily writing together, how do your ideas for the beginning of something, beginning of a project, beginning of a song, beginning of anything, how do they appear to you?
Good question. It's always, I think it's always like words for me. Like it's like a word or a phrase or like an idea of like a way to put things. It's usually a phrase, and whether that phrase is like ends up being like the title of the song or the chorus or whatever, it's like a phrase that gets me like going on a thing, and then I'll go to the guitar or the piano and like write a bunch of like words, and usually that kind of come up with melodies then. But like when we're writing together, Sam kind of takes the basis of melodies or makes mine more interesting or comes up with things and I put the lyrics to it. But yeah, it's always words, and quite often from like watching a film or like, you know, it's inspired by like another piece of art. Like listening to music is obviously a big one too. Like I like the vibe that the song creates. Like, oh, that makes me feel like this, and then you go and like write, and like a word pops into your head or something.
That's sick, man. Yeah, I mean, I could give the exact same answer except for a sound, little sounds. If I hear like, even if it's something like a door creak or something silly or weird, or like you said, something from a film or another song or something, that it just like completely, you know, tumbles into a little world of creativity. So yeah, I think we're pretty much on the same boat, except just for separate things.
That's
different things.
Yeah, I love that. Are there and then when you have this idea, when you are inspired by either a sound or a word or something, or you're you're in the zone, do you guys have any rules to stick by? Do you allow yourself like parameters to work within? That's a really interesting question. Yeah. We've got those mental Brian Eno cards in the studio.
What are
they called?
Oblique strategies.
Oblique strategies. Yeah, they're nuts.
Can we take one out just now?
And actually,
yeah. I think this is a great idea. So, for people that don't know, Brian Eno and his mate, I can't remember the other guy that did them, came up with this like card game, which is a card game for creating. So
Peter Schmidt.
It'll have just like a Peter Schmidt. There you go.
Yeah.
It'll have a phrase on it that'll just like sort of usher your brain in a different direction if you're either suffering from writer's block or just want some inspiration for something. So what's the first card they said, Sam?
And can I just preface the deck of cards by saying like 99% of it is complete wank.
It's so wank. Man, it is a church of wank.
The gospel of wank. We've got make a blank valuable by putting it in an exquisite frame.
Make a blank valuable.
And by put it in a do you know what? Fuck it, doesn't matter. Swank.
More like make a wank valuable, am I right? No, it's good.
Exactly.
I'm sure a lot of people would find that interesting or useful, but
For sure
there's
they
some,
would.
I think there's some really cool. I think there's some really cool things in there. I think Brian Eno is amazing. He's come up with some bonkers stuff. He collects smells. I don't know if I told you guys that.
You told us that. Yeah.
How does he do that?
A friend of mine went and interviewed him once, and he went to his house in like Notting Hill or something, and he went into like one of the rooms, and he's got like this wall covered in all these vials where he like it's sort of potion master in The Witcher or something, and he collects all these smells of like old tires and old wines and stuff, and he's like he'll open one and he'll go like, yeah, sniff this. It's like, what is it? It's like it's a French cake from 1902. It's just the smell though.
Yeah, but it's mouldy,
right,
Brian. It's mouldy. All of it's mouldy.
He knows a nutter.
Yeah.
He just farted in vials and fucking having people on.
That would be a good joke, to be fair. Very Brian, Fart.
Like, they all smell like fart, man.
But now I've just got an image of Eno like bending over with a vial next to his ass, collecting farts in this weird little room. Next to all his oblique strategies, it's like one end is coming up with smells and the other end is coming up with oblique strategies. Man, I've tried to be highbrow in this podcast, and there's just no going away from where my mind wants to go.
It's not going to happen with us on here.
It's not going to happen.
Thing of which, like, I think. Well, first of all, those cards are quite like. I think they're mostly centered around like ambient music, or like because that's kind of like that's why he made them. But I remember reading them and thinking like, oh shit, are we doing this wrong? Because I don't. In answer to your question, I don't really have any rules. I guess it's subconscious ones that you stay in. Like I think I'm quite strict with like with phrasing and rhymes and like the way that like sometimes you can't really understand it, but like the way a word kind of like goes in a line or something like, and some people are like, well that fits and it rhymes. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't feel right. It's not the way you would say it naturally. I think that's like quite important.
Yeah, I think that's great.
To me, like, and also like, and I love like when there's obviously a rhyme on the end. Paul Simon does it like amazingly, as like loads of like rappers do it too. But like you rhyme in the middle as well. Like you're basically playing with like 2 or 3 rhymes at once. I love like little things like that.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't say that they're like
he did this. He did this one. He gave this one piece of advice where he said he wrote an entire album when he was writing like lyrics to his songs and writing sort of like more traditional songs. He wrote a whole album without using the word I, and he used every pronoun was the word we or talking about someone else. And I really liked that. It was sort of like it had like quite a communal vibe to it. That record.
Inclusive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting way to go about it, and that's sort of one of his rules. I think that Brian Eno likes to work with restrictions and rules because it makes him write quite particularly, but then that album or that piece of music has such a vibe about it. It's got these things that you can immediately go, oh right, okay, so it's fitting into this particular thing, and as a result it means this to him and it means that to me. I've always thought that's really, I always thought that's a cool way to go about doing things.
Yeah,
cool guy.
Cool guy, for sure.
Yeah, he is a cool guy. Also had amazing hair when he was in Roxy Music. His hair was
man,
like
that
ultimate.
really beautiful
So
long
good.
flowing hair. I think he looks great now.
Yeah, but like balding.
Now he looks
does.
like an elder, like a wise village council.
Skyrim guy.
Yeah, but before he was like a shaman.
Yeah,
that sort of
yeah.
vibe.
Before he was like full on weird, like who is that guy? Now he's just like
and he's been
exactly.
hip this whole time. He's still hip as fuck. Like my most listened to song right now
he's still cool.
Is Fred Again. He remixed a Fred Again song, and Fred Again is like the hottest producer in Britain right now, and it's like 10 times cooler than the original. He's just a fucking dude.
Really? I'm gonna listen to that right now.
Yeah,
Wicked.
right now.
Yeah, cool guy.
A very cool guy.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Beep.
Adam and Sam from HYYTS, who are based in Glasgow and obviously aren't touring at the moment because of the pandemic, but they have got a new song out called The Low Sound, which is available on Spotify, and it is a certified fucking Bobby Dazzler. It's an absolute hit. So drench yourself in mustard and roll around in a giant hot dog bun listening to that. I don't know what I mean. Oh god, I haven't spoken out loud in a very long time. All right, but yeah, listen out. I think they said they've got an acoustic version of The Low Sound coming out soon as well, so look out for that, and look out for all of the The rest of I guess they're going to be working on an album soon. I think they're working towards an album because I can't wait to hear just a whole fucking stack of hits. Sorry, I'm swearing a lot at the moment. I apologise, but look out for HYYTS. See them when they come on tour, and I can't wait for us all to be out playing together like a group of tiny, tiny children. That would be a treat. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back with some more interviews very soon.